All right. Welcome to everybody here to the Real Estate Weekly Talk Show with Raul Luna. Congratulations. We're live. We're actually, recording this session here as always. Hopefully you got your, favorite beverage. Make sure that you have a notepad and a pen because I know that there's going to be some questions. Okay, I'm going to dive right in, ladies and gentlemen. I know that there's people that may or may not know me. Either way. Congratulations for being here today, and the reason why I congratulate you and I bring this thing is because I want you to understand on a Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, you decided to be here today. You decided that this time was the best way to invest it so that you can grow yourself and continue to get wise into the real estate world. So I'm going to do whatever is necessary to make sure that whatever is it that you came for, that you can obviously take it back, with you and be able to implement it right away. Okay, so very simply put, I've been in the real estate industry for close to almost 2 decades now. It's been an amazing ride with ups and downs, and who knows what is the next ride here that we're feeling, right? It's, we've been feeling some softness on the market. Maybe you have experienced it as well, but it's exciting. And it's that level of excitement where, it's whatever comes in, the wise investor gives you the ability, if you become, if you develop certain strengths, if you've developed certain intuitions, if you develop obviously a discipline, it'll get you, obviously the bad moments become the great moments, and the great moments become even better moments. So that's what you want to do, and that's why I want to congratulate you for being here. But I also want you to know that if a farm boy from a farm town is able to do this, you can do it as well. A lot of people think that I'm able to do it because of whatever, but sometimes we make excuses, or sometimes people say, well, maybe Raul was born in a rich family, and I wasn't. And I share it very openly. I share my wins and I share my losses openly. I share my wins and my mistakes openly for a reason. I want I want to help you to grow. There's 3 things that I'm doing this for. I want to empower, connect, and help you achieve your goals, all right? And through that, obviously, we're going to help each other. So I'm going to show you today, ladies and gentlemen, in 9 simple steps, okay? It's actually should be 10 steps. It's actually 10 steps. In 10 simple steps, what is it on a case study on a property that we just closed on the sell? And some of you guys may recognize what we did on the buy. And I want to take you through that little journey because there's 10 things that we did, 10 steps that we did to making over 120 something thousand dollars in profit. And it was in less than what, literally less than a couple of weeks or so. And I'll show you evidence of it so that you know that this is real. And we'll leave the questions and answers towards the end. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. And by the way, I want you to know this as well. And I'm going to make my announcement here before anything else. Follow us in Facebook. We got a Facebook a business page, which is Raul Luna English. And then on Instagram is Raul Luna English as well. And then also on YouTube, I just launched a brand new English YouTube that I'm going to be obviously, transmitting live about 2 to 3 times a week. So get well connected on the YouTube channel, right? Because obviously, for the first 100 people that makes it, and you'll see it because I have multiple YouTube channels, but it's got to be the one in English, especially if you want to hear, obviously, the material in English. But for the first 100 people that actually goes to the English YouTube page or the YouTube channel, I got something that I'm going to be doing there that obviously I'm not going to share until after the fact. Okay, so anyways, let's get started here. I'm going to share my screen, and I want to go ahead and take you to the property, and some of you will recognize this property because we showcased it If you can see me and hear me, can you please do me a favor? Put me a number. Go ahead and put me a number one. If you can hear me and see me, put me a number one, please. Just want to confirm that you guys are seeing me and hearing me. Hello, hello. Can you guys hear me, see me? Hello. Hello, hello. Okay, beautiful. Excellent. Thank you so much. It was number one, if you can see me and hear me. Okay, if you can see me and hear me, just put me a number one. All right, thank you, Fred. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, Elevate. Thank you. Okay, beautiful. So I think we're good. We're back on track. For some weird reason, I think I lost signal there, but awesome. So anyways, let me show you then here. This is the property, ladies and gentlemen, all right? I'm gonna share with you. It's on the Hillcrest Knolls area in San Leandro, California. And you know, you would never tell on the picture or by the image that this is a triplex or is a 3-unit building. You know, it seems like a house. If you notice, there's like 3 little storages there on the carport, but you will never notice it. And it's interesting because even when we go this way, you would think it's a house. Every single other structure in this street, it's a house. So therefore, the only lonely triplex is this one. So guess what? This is exactly the steps that we did in order to acquire this deal, okay? Step number one, we identify the area that we wanted it, obviously, to start targeting or marketing. And that area in this case was San Leandro, California. Why did we choose that area? At the time, we chose it because it was a non-rent control area. That's about to change in a few months. You know, starting January 1st, 2020, everything is changing for California. Now the entire state obviously is becoming rent control, but that was one of the reasons why we chose San Leandro, right? Now, the second step is we chose a category, you know, single family homes, duplex, triplex, fourplex. In this particular case, we chose 1 structure all the way to 4 structures in the San Leandro city limits. And then step 3, okay, we send a 7-touch, you know, direct mail letter. You heard it right, a 7. We send 7 different type of letters that are, you know, different envelopes, different, you know, different letters inside, very similar, but very simple, nothing complicated. And on the 5th touch, on the 5th letter, we receive a call. When we got the call, you know, one of my data analysts gets the call and takes in the information. And it was interesting because, you know, we started evaluating. So step 3 is that we design a 7-touch letter system. And then step 4, we evaluated the deal. We evaluated the deal. I still remember when I got the text message from my data analyst, and he says, Raul, the deal seems skinny. Can you verify it for me? Can you check it for me? Because it seems skinny, although there could be some great potential there. There's very, you know, there's very little comps. It's in a really nice area, but the seller wants, you know, a little bit on the high end, wants some top dollars. So I evaluated the property, and I noticed that my data analyst said, hey, Raul, I think the ARV on this thing is about, you know, it's about $700,000. And then I went online, I checked it, and I'm thinking houses in this area that are 3-bedroom, 1 bath are selling for $750,000, $800,000. This is a house, and on the bottom has 2 apartment units. So this got to be a little bit more valuable than the $750,000, $800,000. We couldn't find triplexes. This is the situation of an area that is really nice. It's on the hills. But it's not, there's no triplexes to compare it, no fourplexes or duplexes close in the vicinity. So I had a take few steps back, and I evaluated duplexes that were a little bit farther out, and they were selling for $750,000, you know, $800,000. And that's when I came to the conclusion. I said, listen, because the seller gave us the entire description, over the phone that the property needed anywhere from $50,000 to $75,000 worth of renovation, I was telling my data analyst, I said, you know what? I think the best thing to do is we got to visit the property, because if he's saying that he's got $50,000 to $75,000 worth of renovation, but he's saying that he already did the windows, he already did the roof, he already did the porch, he already did, the flooring, that the only things missing is the bathroom, some carpet, some staircase going through the property on one of the sides, and paint throughout the entire landscape. To me, that doesn't sound like a $50,000 to $75,000 job. So that's what took us to basically step number 5. We visited the property. I took my general contractor, my architect, and this was literally, I want you to understand, this was on a Sunday, okay? And we visited the property, and my GC, obviously, I always ask him to submit it on a very specified invoice format, and he says, Raul, I think you're going to spend anywhere from $25,000 to $28,000 to complete this. And that's what made it, that's what triggered it. I remember I told the gentleman, Barry, I said, Mr. Barry, I'm willing to give you what you're asking, provided that we do it today, okay? My offer is only good for today. And then he says, well, I don't take decisions that fast. I said, Mr. Barry, you mentioned to us that what you wanted it for the property was $475,000, wasn't it? He says, yes, but you know what? I got to consult it with my wife. I said, go ahead and consult it with a wife. Don't, no pressure. All I'm saying is my offer for $475, all cash, closing, 10 to 14 days, and we pay 100% all the closing costs, and, and basically it's a net offer to you. It's basically, it's $475 is what you were asking. So I said, but no pressures. I'm gonna head back home. We're about an hour and 15 minutes or so. And I was getting ready to go back home. I went into my car, started the car, going down the hill. And then I receive a call from my wife. It says, hey, Raul, can you help me with a property? I just got a call from, from this seller, and they want an offer right away. So I pulled over to a Starbucks, bought a coffee. I pulled my laptop, started doing obviously the second set of eyes analyzation process. And I, obviously I delivered the information. And then, as I was getting ready, to get back home, I went to the car, started the car, and then the phone rang, and it was Mr. Barry. He says, Raul, come on, it's yours. We're going to go ahead and, we decided. And I asked him, this is the questions that I asked the seller, okay? So that you can learn and put them there. I said, Mr. Barry, why did you decide to call us? And this is something not to forget, ladies and gentlemen. If you're truly not taking some golden nuggets of how I'm sharing it with you, you're missing out big time. I can tell you straight flat out, because Mr. Barry told me, he says, Raul, the reason why I call you guys is because I had received 5 letters from you guys, and I learned that you guys were extremely interested. You guys were extremely persistent. You guys were serious about buying my property, because no one sends 5 letters. I receive a lot of letters, but I only receive it once or maybe twice. But you guys send me 5. And to me, that separates you from the crowd. Bingo, golden nugget, golden nugget. I don't know if you're getting it. Hopefully you are, because a lot of people, they just want to wing it one time, maybe a second time. And by the 3rd letter, you're getting desperate. By the 4th letter, you're getting desperate. That's why I do 7 letters. Let me ask you this. How many times does it take for you to buy something before, how many times does it take for you to see something and then eventually buy it? Studies has shown that it's right around about anywhere from 7 to 14 times. So if you're only sending, 3 touches, too low, 4 touches, too low. If it takes 7 to 14, ladies and gentlemen, then why are you shortchanging yourself, right? So anyways, he took obviously he took our offer. That was step number 6, okay? Step number 5 is when we went, took a look at it, and my contractor the next day obviously sent me everything formalized on how much it was going to take. in writing, because I always expect it in writing. And then that took us to basically step number 6. We put it under contract, we closed right away, and then we went to step number 7. While I was under contract, I blasted off into my qualified vetted buyer investor list. Okay, click a button, send basically an email saying, hey, listen, I got a property that I'm looking to wholesale, and this property will work as a wholesale, hotel, rehab, cash flow, you name it, it'll work. That's why I like the fact of wholesaling. When you become a professional wholesaler, usually if you buy right and if you understand how to buy it, you have multiple exit strategies. But anyways, blast it off. That was step number 7. And then step number 8 is that we grab a buyer from the multiple people that submitted obviously offers. We got offers. So I put it out there for $650,000. We couldn't get 650, but there was a lot of offers in the 575, 600, even 615, and we took one. And I'll show you here which one is it that we took. And then that took us to step basically number 9, which was closing on the sale. Okay. And step number 10 is basically celebration time, celebrating the win. I'm going to show you here. Give me a second. I'm going to show you the settlement statements. So this is the settlement statement on the sell. I'm going to take you on the buy. So picture this, just so that you can see here. You should be able to see my screen now. If you notice, and I'm going to take you and I'm going to highlight it. Look, this is when we closed. We closed on this date, right? That's when we closed. And we bought it for $475, right? That's how much we bought it for. And look how much I requested for construction holdback. Even though I knew it was going to take, less money, I still did more. Why? In renovations, ladies and gentlemen, you will owe most of the time, especially whether you're experienced or you're new. If you're new, it'll go way out and you will exceed the budget. If you're experienced, you will exceed the budget. Okay, understand that it's going to take longer. If you don't have those extra cushion, you're going to get caught in between. And even so, on a changing market, I put 52. They lend me 52, even though it was going to take a little bit less. Why? That's another golden nugget. Boom, kaboom, right there. That you should be picking up on that. Okay, I'm throwing a lot of freaking golden nugget bombs in this webinar, and you should be picking up on them. Guess what? Look, the interesting thing that, okay, so it's 52. They lend 90% of that. Look, the loan that I got, it was 479. Okay, interesting, right? That's including the purchase, 90% of the purchase, and 100% of the renovation that you see there. Now, when it's all said and done, basically we close it. The most important thing is that we close it on the 10/23. And then on the selling side, listen to this. On the selling side, we closed it on 11/5. Okay, 11/5 at 1:51 p.m. Now, what I want you to do is, and we sold it for how much? We sold it for $615. Oops, sorry, we didn't meant to do that, but I guess I don't know how to do it. But anyhow, didn't meant to do that. Give me a second. I don't know if this. Oops, yeah, it's gonna work. All right, beautiful. So look, we sold it for $615. We just got the wire of 185, I think yesterday or maybe today. I don't know if it was yesterday or today, but the whole point here, ladies and gentlemen, is this. What I want you to understand, I sold it to another, investor buyer who literally, he's going to renovate and flip and still he's going to make his money, right? Now, picture this, okay? Because this one, we bought it with basically none of our money. I got a first loan, with a hard money lender, and then I got a private money lender as a second, and guess what? Bingo, the deal happened. Do me a favor, grab the dates from 10/23 to 11/05. How many days? If you can go ahead and share it here down below in the chat room. Go ahead and share in the chat room. How many days is from 10/23, 2019 to 11/05/2019. How many days is that? Who can share how many days is that? No one's going to share? Okay, 14 days, all right? 12 to 13 days. Okay, Mr. Santos saying 12 to 13. And in reality, guess what? It doesn't matter. I think it's 13 days, right? It's 13 days and some change. 14 is close enough. 12 close enough. 25. You're being funny, Fred. You know, the thing of it is this. From close to close is 13 days. If we grab it from the time that we took the call, from the time we close is around about maybe 4 weeks. Doesn't matter. Do the math. 615 minus, minus the 475 minus all the closing costs. Let me tell you, just so that you know, and have, okay, closing cost on this thing on the way in and on the way out was about $17,000. So let's do the math together. 615 minus 17,000 minus the 475. So we made around about, $123,000. And this is not to brag and to, tell you how freaking awesome we are. No, this is because I want you to know that I could have wholesaled it. And the only reason why I didn't wholesale it is because the profit was a little too large. So that's why I decided to do a wholesale. Now, what is a wholesale? Is when you take title on the buy and then you sell it without doing much to it. We didn't do nothing other than, making sure, other than giving a 60-day notice to the tenant so that the tenant will leave, other than making sure that we cleaned the place just a little bit. I mean, it wasn't much done to the property. So that hotel, you will take title to it. And this is on a property that we didn't renovate. We didn't spend money. Now, you may ask, well, why did you ask then for $52,000 worth of renovation? Well, I want to protect every downside, ladies and gentlemen. What if I don't sell it and I want to keep it? Well, I'll renovate it and rent it. What if I want to, what if the market changes? What if this, what if that, right? So, a wise investor will actually, pinpoint every negative potential outcome that you could come across, not to be negative, because I'm not advising you to be negative. You got to check every single point and then realize, okay, you know what? If I wholesale it, could I make the same? Well, if an end investor buyer sees that you're making that amount of money, sometimes you will hit with very jealous investors. And that's why I decided that I was going to wholesale it in this particular case. Now, keep in mind, if it's $25,000, $30,000 assignment fee, typical, that's okay. But anything bigger than that is probably better not, because you don't know who the end buyer. Even though I work, with many of my buyers very closely, but even so, trust me, I tell you this from experience. So, anyways, I want to make, ladies and gentlemen, I want to go ahead and recap, and then I'm going to make a few announcements here. So, step number 1, we identify the area that we wanted it to target. Number 2, we identify the category of investments that we want to buy. Number 3, we send 7-touch letter program. Number 4, we get the call, we evaluated the deal. Number 5, we literally visit the property and took the general contractor and my architect, to obviously evaluate the property with me on the renovation side. Number 6, we put it under contract and we closed on the deal. Number 7, we blasted it to the buyer investor pool that we have. Number 8, put it under contract to the sell side. Number 9, close on the sale. And number 10, celebration time. Listen, my private money lender made money. My hard money lender made money. The seller the second thing that I want to share, why will the seller made money? He bought it, I think he bought it, back in the days, 25 years ago. Why would he sell it? Number 1, he was an out-of-state owner. He was, he was sharp as you can think of, but maybe late 50s, taking it to, to his 60s. But he says, Raul, this is the time for me to enjoy life. You know, I worked so hard my entire life. I don't want to be, he was doing the renovation himself. He actually drove from Montana to California, 16 plus hours to do the renovation that it was taking him about a couple of months, you know, and he says, this is not what I signed up for. So anyways, trust me that there's a whole different, you know, reasons of why people sell their properties. And, you know, the seller one, like I said, the hard money, the private money, the only person that I can think of that it's going to be a challenging is probably for the tenant. And guess what? It is what it is. You know, I mean, I care for them, but at the same time, you know, the interesting thing is people have it so good for so long that then people become entitled. And what do I mean by that? You know, one of the tenants were only paying $650. You know, $650 on a unit that is worth, you know, close to over $2,000. You know, you're having it too good for too long, and yet we become entitled to the situation. Now, not many people agree with that with me. That's okay. It doesn't have to be an agreement. Okay. So, anyways, I want to make a few announcements, ladies and gentlemen. Very important that you go to my YouTube channel. I only got one video that I've done, obviously, there, but we just launched it. And I just want you to know that we're going to be obviously putting more information 2 to 3 times on a weekly live. At the same time, you know, visit, if you want to learn more about what I shared, you may or may not know, but if you want to learn it in the English language, I have a program that you can go to levelupnowacademy.com. And basically, I got a program there that you could, you know, get in English. And basically, obviously, go in very detailed process on what I just did right here. Okay, so, you know, anyways, I'm going to open it up for questions and answers now. I'm going to go ahead and take it off from sharing mode. Questions and answers. Is there any questions regarding with what we shared here today that you need help with? Any questions or answers? I mean, questions that you may have, ladies and gentlemen. We got full house today. That is awesome. So if there's no questions or answers, I mean, if there's no questions, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. But I wanted it obviously to share and let you know that, you know, even on the slowing down of the economy, because I feel the slowness, even like that, when you buy right, okay, when you buy right, you know, you got multiple exit strategies, okay? So how much do you spend per month in direct mail? Great question. You know, from Elevate, I spend about $25,000 a month. This one took us about, you know, if I was to find out how much did it cost us to buy it, probably cost us about anywhere from $7,000 to $10,000 plus or minus, okay? So the true question is it worth it? So for the entire year, if I spend $25,000 a month, you know, I mean, a month times 12, that's $300,000. So that means that if I do 2 or 3 deals, that will cover the whole marketing for the whole year. And then, you know, that's why you got to be very consistent. Now, keep in mind, I didn't start it that way. I started it literally with, I remember doing 100 letters, but it didn't work out. And then I did like 300, didn't work out. And until I heard somebody saying, listen, it's much better to create a budget and do 1,000 letters minimum, but do them on a 5 to 7 touch. And I decided that I was going to do a 7 touch. And that's when things really started to change. But I committed to doing it 7 touches on 1,000 letters. And then the first deal came in, and then I reinvested and reinvested and reinvested. See, you know what, and I can tell you this, I see a lot of investors do. A lot of investors have the poor scarcity mindset, okay? Very poor scarcity mindset. They start making a little money, and then they hoard it. They're like, oh, no. To me, it's like, no, if I make money, I only take enough to live off of, and then everything has to go back to marketing, to marketing, to marketing. But the scarcity-minded people, they make a good profit on a deal, and then and they don't want to spend money on marketing. You know, so I've seen it over and over and over again. So to answer your question, basically that's how much we spend, right? Now, we started with what we could when we did, all right? Just because I am right now there doesn't mean that's how I started, because a lot of people see the impossible. I could never do $25,000 a month. Not yet, but you know, make sure that you start where you are, okay? Is there entire California will be affected by rent control? Yes. The answer, Daryl, yes. 2021, I mean, January 1st, 2020, entire blanket California, the whole thing changes. Raul, what is the YouTube channel? You know what? Great question. Let me see if I can get it for you guys and maybe share it there on the, give me a second. Miss Elizabeth, I'm gonna see if I'm able to get it, your channel, and then share the link. Maybe I can share the link there. Okay, yeah, I think I'm gonna be able to share the link here. Give me a second. Oh, okay. There you go. There, I just shared it. So, Miss Elizabeth, I just shared it there. When you compare the property, how far do you go from the original house? Mr. Santos, I go in steps. I go quarter of a mile. And then if I don't find my best three in that quarter of a mile, I go half a mile. And then I go 3/4 of a mile, maximum one mile. Now, I also pay attention to communities. I may go half a mile, but I will give more value to the same communities. In other words, if your property is in one specific community, I'm going to give more value to the houses that are in that specific community. Okay, so hopefully that helps you right there. Okay. Next question: what criteria are you targeting for your list? You know, different criterias. In this one, it was, you know, people that owns it for 20 years or more, basically. You know, so it's very simple, you know, in this particular case, this one. But I do 20 years, you know, I do, what else? Actually, my biggest list is 20 years ownership. You know, you could do out of state, in state. I do both. I do, you know, I do both just because my list needs to be bigger. So, so that's basically where it is. When you put your property under contract, can the seller back out the sale if he wants to change their mind? Junior, they can. You know, anyone can do whatever they want. That they're going to succeed is a whole different thing. You know, because can they back out? Yeah. Can they change their mind? Yeah. But changing their mind doesn't mean that they're going to be able to back out. You know, and what I mean by that is, there was a situation that happened where the seller wanted to back out, and it was a young couple that basically somehow they just decided that, you know, I think that either until today I don't know what happened, but we said, hey, listen, we decided to put a list pendants on the property, and whenever they get ready to sell, guess what? They're going to have to come back to us. Why? Because you know, that's just the way it is. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an attorney. Can they back out? Yes, but keep in mind that there's consequences if they back out. Okay. Are you doing direct mail and PPC? Yes, Mr. Elevate. Yes, I am. I'm doing both. You know, and both are working really, you know, really well. So, okay. I have subscribed. Excellent, Miss Elizabeth. Congratulations. All right. Which books do you recommend reading? Depends. You know, it just depends. What is it that you wanna learn about? For instance, if I can give you a few, but I don't know what is it that you want to, you know, learn about. You know, one of the books that I'll give you an example. There's one book that I really like that is called The Four Agreements. If you haven't read it, that gave me character. That helped me with understanding and being careful with what I speak. You know, because as a human being, we make a lot of promises to ourselves, but you know, 99% of those promises get broken, and people, you know, and I'm not saying that being perfect is the way to go, because there's no such a thing, you know, but also being careful with what we speak, because it will come back, you know, back to you. Okay. So Jessica says the best book ever. You know, the best, if I was to define it, the best book ever, it's been, you know, 16 Laws of Success by Napoleon Hill. That has been the absolute best book. You know, if you follow it to the letter, you know, you will become rich. the issue is people, although have the freedom it has the freedom to do it, you know, we don't discipline ourselves. Let's face it, you know. So that has been one of my best books, you know, that, and then that has led me to many other books. So I have a big, massive library. As a matter of fact, I just ordered like 7 books. I don't recommend them yet because I haven't read them, but I just ordered 7 books in one purchase, and you know, it's you know, it's one of the things that I like to do. Didn't like to do it, but now I do. Okay. So how much do you spending on PPC? PPC, you know, right now it varies. On the low end, I spend about $3,000 a month. On the higher end, I spend about $7,000. So that one is a little bit less than the direct mail. Okay. Says, okay, have you on YouTube now? Excellent, Mr. Santos. Thank you so much. Appreciate it there, man. Appreciate it. Do you outsource your PPC to a digital agency? Yes, I do. You know, I do. I pretty much outsource almost everything, okay? With the exception of a few things. Structuring deals, I do. Raise capital, I do. You know, hiring talent, I do. So I do certain things, you know, that are the biggest ticket items, you know. So I do, you know, 3 to 5 things that a CEO is in charge that should never delegate unless you're replacing yourself. So that's basically it. What a great questions, ladies and gentlemen. You guys were a great crowd. I love it when you guys are hungry for growth and hungry for success. You know, so congratulations for being here. Today we had full house, by the way. It's been the highest attendance. And, you know, I want to congratulate you for being here. And guess what? Our meetup is coming up, okay? We're going to be soon releasing, just so that you know, our next meetup is going to be, just so that you know, 1, 2, 3, it's going to be November 21st. This month of November, and December usually is 1 week early. Don't forget that, is 1 week early. Look at your calendar. In your calendar, you should already have it. It's the November 21st. We're going to be releasing the speaker here coming up very shortly. It's going to be a lady. A lady is going to be talking to us how she literally went from working for somebody full time to mainly kicking butt and crushing it in a very major way in the Bay Area. Okay, so anyways, be on the lookout, but make sure that the moment that we released it, that you go ahead and sign up for it, right? So, and then last but not least, I want to give me a second because some people are texting me. Give me a second here. Level Up Now Academy / I think I gave you the incorrect link for the academy, and some people are you know, I just got reminded here from corporate, and I'm going to share it here with you guys. So for the people that don't have, you know, because if you want to continue with growth, and growth should never be negotiable, ladies and gentlemen, okay, this will go up in pricing, okay? This will be the very last week that I'm going to have this program, is the 2 full day recorded program, and you have the link right there, right in front of you, which is levelupnowacademy.com /FA, you know, F as in Frank, A as in Apple, D as in Delta. You know, that will be going up, and this is the only time. If you haven't bought it, go ahead and get it. But you know, so make sure that you know you have it, because if you really want to go very deep on what I just shared, I explain it really in detail there, and it's 2 full days. You know, one day it's about mindset, it's about thinking right, because a lot of people listen. Just because you got money doesn't mean you know how to think right. Okay, just understand that, because people, you go in stages in life, and you'll learn it there. You'll understand it, what I'm talking about. All right. Do you outsource PPC or digital agency? Are there going to be any more videos uploaded to REI Profit Vault? Elevate, great question. The Profit Vault program is going to be totally reinvented. In other words, we are going to bring it back, but very differently. Before we were doing it with $7. And honestly, it was not, people were, we're just reinventing the whole thing. So to answer your question is, we're not going to have it anymore how we had it before, but we are going to bring it back out, but it's going to be like in a library format, right? So excellent. I'm still getting charged while at it. Perfect. Mr. Elevate, what I suggest is if you don't see new videos, just go ahead and ask for a refund, and they'll refund you, or go ahead and cancel it. We are going to reinvent it, and we are going to be, or if you've been seeing new videos there, just keep it, because the people that, if you're still being charged and you were kept in the old program, then keep it. But if you're being charged and you don't see a video, go ahead and cancel it, right? And we'll happily refund you, so you don't have to worry about that. Anyways, we are going to bring it out again, but it's going to be very different than what we had it, right? So awesome, guys. Congratulations for connecting here with me today. It was a great session. We'll get to see you next time, and understand this, all right? People believe that you need money to invest in real estate, but people that believe that you need money to invest in real estate, they're broke from here. And I know there's people here that still thinks that you need money to invest in real estate. And while that could be true, it doesn't have to be your money. Doesn't have to be your money. People think that it has to be your money. No, it does not. When you learn those things, take the time. And that's one of the things that I actually teach you, right? So anyways, see you at the meetup. See you in the next, obviously, real estate talk show here that we do on a weekly basis. Congratulations for being here with me today. We'll get to see you in the next time, all right? Have a great one. Thank you very much.